What's going on, World Sports Game Vision? I'm Hank. I had a little technical difficulty if you didn't hear me. Sports Game Vision here. We're talking NBA and all the sports talking the world going on. But right now, we're talking really NBA. The All-Star game was yesterday. We'll tap into that. And actually, we're going to start away from the NBA right away. We're going to touch on a little bit of wrestling. Here's the graphic. It's a new show. Hopefully, you guys will like it. Sports Game Vision, Sports Weekly. We'll try to touch on this every Monday if I can. And as you jump in the building, and if you like the show, you like hang out here at Sports Game Vision, make sure you hit all the positive buttons and support the channel. And we are going to get started. The very first thing on the board here is the WWE. I don't know if you guys are watching, but recently we've got Gunther over here representing and getting his title reign, one of the longest, in actually the longest in WWE history. As you can see, it's 619 days and counting. Tonight, he's going to have a big match against Jey Uso. Title match going to be the main event more than likely. I wonder if Jey is actually going to interrupt the title reign. They call a main event. They should be able to put him in that top slot for the title reign as a main eventer ever since they've been pushing him in the bloodline. Hopefully that happens for him, but we'll see tonight. But either way, Gunther's had one of the best reigns in the industry ever. Since the Honky Tonk Man, he overtook that. He's looking very strong. And I bring him up because he made another comment recently about Brock Lesnar, that's a dream match that he really wanted. But because of the situation that's going on in WWE right now with the whole Vince scandal and him being involved in it in some way, he can't get that match, but he's definitely looking forward to having that in the future. He said, I always was vocal about my dream match in the past, but it fell through now. I don't know if we'll see Brock again, if it's ever going to happen, but I'm wide open when it comes to that as of now. So Gunther is still wanting that match to happen over in WWE, and maybe, just maybe, he'll get that opportunity. But moving on now to a little bit of NBA news. As of today, we see that Jacque Vaughn was released of his duties as the Brooklyn Nets head coach. Shocking, but not shocking. I would think that maybe they wait till after the season. I know they're kind of in that play-in bubble. Maybe they want to try to make a stronger push to the playoffs and the play-in. But usually you don't make those changes unless there's something going on behind the scenes. Maybe the players are pushing to get rid of them, and they're saying that the interim coach will be Kevin Ollie, who had a pretty good collegiate run as a head coach. Usually when the assistants are put in place, they are put in place because the players like them. And of course, they usually have the backing of the front office. And Ollie's name has been into a lot of headlines as far as other positions this past summer and the last couple of years, really. His name has been brought up. He might be able to get the permanent position in the off season. We'll see. Depends on how he does and what showing he does for the rest of the season in this playoff play-in. But, it was definitely a shock today to see that they relieved Jacque Vaughn of his duties. He thanked the family and the owners of the team, and he hoped that he left a positive impact on the Brooklyn Nets and the players. But he said it's on to the next one, and he's hoping to have more opportunities in the future. And I think he's going to get some other work coming up soon. But they let him go at this point in the Brooklyn Nets. Do wish they kind of would have waited after the season, but of course, with them having an opportunity to make the play-in, maybe they felt it was the best decision. As we transition here, we're going to talk a little bit more about the NBA as well. We're going to bring in Adam Silver. He had a busy weekend with the NBA All-Star Weekend. He, as you can see, got on that WWE belt as they cross-promote with other brands and promotions. But I bring up this picture here. He had a lot of things to talk about. We talked about this with on my other shows with a couple of the guests that I had on there about the media rights and the playing style of the game and the All-Star game, but I couldn't necessarily hear all of his interactions with the media. But this clip here, this quote here was put in place on the net, and he said he wants to dispel the notion that the league offices feel that high scoring games are good. What we want are competitive games. And he says the defensive intensity is there. Players are being asked to defend larger areas with how spacing has increased in the game in the NBA, which is pretty much true. You know, if you go back to older style basketball, they didn't have to cover as much distance, but I think people are looking for some type of a balance. We all saw the game yesterday, and we'll talk about that briefly in a minute. But it's good to see that the league has an eye on what's going on. They're hearing the people talk about the games being too high, too fast paced, too much high scoring, too much player scoring, a lot of points as well, and they're keeping an eye on it. But they're saying that he does see effort, and of course, I believe that that's true as well. But as far as the All Star game was concerned, that is a different tale, and we'll transition here to the All Star game. I don't know if you guys enjoyed the whole weekend. I thought the weekend was pretty much a success. The actual game was always the one that I had my eye on. How was it going to turn out? And as we see, it was a crazy one yesterday. Um, sorry, this is Brian here. I'm trying to pull up the other graph here. Um, it sets the record for the highest scoring points in the All-Star game history, 211 points. This is something I probably predict that's going to happen in the regular season. Somebody's going to score 200 points in the regular season because of the high scoring that we're having right now in the league. But it happened in the All-Star game. They were just chucking up threes after three after three. There's a graph up of there's a record setting 3-point attempts in this All-Star game as well. Also, there wasn't any fouls called either. I think it was like 3 fouls called, which is the lowest in All-Star game history. Yeah, it was just guys just going out there chucking up shots. They're they're not taking it all the way serious. Of course, this shows their range and guys are very talented, but it wasn't a competitive game. And I think that's what the fans are looking for. Maybe they need to put some incentives about maybe paying these players not only for the All Star game but for the other appearances like the slam dunk contest, the 3-point contest. Maybe we'll get more competition out of that, but something has to be done. Even some of the players are saying that LeBron was talking about it. Also, a few other players have talked about it, and of course, other people in the media have talked about that something has to be done to make the game. These guys play up to the level of talent that they have. Even Anthony Edwards was talking about shooting left-handed all game yesterday, and as well saying that they don't take the All-Star game serious. It's a break, and I get that too. If you're as a fan, you're looking at it like I want these guys to go out and there compete. As a person that works, you want a vacation. I guess it's a break for them. They're looking like we got to go back to work in the next few days. Let's have a little fun, and I get it from that standpoint. But the other generations, they weren't necessarily thinking that way. But of course, it's a different generation. Their mindset and the way they did things were different. They got to find a way to bring it into the newer generation to have these gentlemen that want to compete and bring on a very good game for the audience and for the fans as well. But we'll see how that rolls out in the future. And I'm sure it's going to be addressed by the players union and the league offices probably in the summertime. But hopefully they'll address it, fix it. And of course, overall, wasn't a bad weekend. I did enjoy the 3-pointers. I did enjoy the 3-point contest, rather. I enjoyed the Steph versus Sabrina. And the dunk contest wasn't bad either. And my guy actually won. We'll talk about that in a minute. But he got back-to-back dunk championships. But overall, good all-star weekend. We will transition here onto LeBron James. Yes, sir. He's in the news. He's always in the news. That's LeBron. Um, he's 50-50 on how he wants to do his farewell tour or not. He's come out and said, hey, he doesn't know if he wants to do it the Kobe way or the Tim Duncan way. Tim Duncan just ducked everything. He was like, I'm out. Um, didn't even tell anybody, I think. I don't even think he told Greg Popovich. He just didn't show up or something. Sent a text message, and Kobe had a farewell tour. So did Michael when he came back for the third time. Maybe, I think I think Brian probably would want the Kobe way, but he gets so much hate thrown his way. I think that it's kind of a conflict of interest for him of like, man, it's like, dang if you do, dang if you don't. But overall, I think he should get a farewell tour. He's put in a lot of work. He's had a great career. And, you know, as you can see, he's breaking records. He broke past Kareem again. You see the years still looking young out there from 2005 to 2024. His team didn't get it done. Again, he said that they got to do something about making it competitive again in the All-Star game. He's even talked about it in his interviews yesterday. But overall, it's going to be interesting to see what LeBron does in his last year or so in the league, depending on how long he wants to go. I also read an article where LeBron said that, he's not really worried about his place in history as far as catching Kobe, Tim Duncan, because I always put Tim in there because he got 5, and Jordan in rings. He feels he really has enough body of work to say, hey, look at what I've done. Look at all these records I've accumulated with the awards. My spot is solidified. And I believe that's true. Obviously, it never hurts to have another championship ring. So hoping that he can get that one before it's all said and done. But as they're saying in the background that he's feeling like he doesn't necessarily care about that. And also watch the Rich Paul interview with Stephen A. Smith show, and he mimicked those same sentiments that they feel like Bron has done enough. He just should enjoy his last ride here, to count down his career. The clock is ticking to be gone from the league, and they feel like they've done enough to be either the greatest or in that great room, and that was what Rich Paul was talking about as well. So obviously LeBron is in the background saying the same things, or at least feeling the same way. But we'll see if he says it publicly. But right now he's definitely giving you more hints that the time is coming soon, and we kind of know that he'll probably be leaving at some point. The year 21. So let's enjoy what we have of him left. As you see that when he's no longer in the league, people will probably stop hating as much on him. But shout out to LeBron James, and definitely one of the greatest to ever do it. Moving on here, we are going to talk about Trae Young addressing rumors about his trade value, or whether he wants to be traded. He has come out and said he's Mr. Hawk. He does not want to leave Atlanta. It's kind of a tough situation. He's had some success in Atlanta. It's been like a lot of up and downs with the coaching and the personnel, but he's got to the conference championship. He's made the playoffs several times. He's been an all-star, and I feel as if they're going to make this work in Atlanta, they're going to have to really, really build around him the right way, from his skill set and what he needs to succeed. Sort of like what they did with Iverson. I'm making that comparison because he's a shorter guy like Iverson. When they finally built around him, you saw what he did. He got him to the finals, and he's kind of similar with his situation as well. His Stackhouse situation with Iverson, and they gave Iverson the keys. They got rid of Stackhouse. They're saying them probably maybe getting rid of, sorry about that, guys. They might be getting rid of DeJounte Murray. So we'll see what happens in the summer, but he's saying that he does not want to leave at this point. and I believe him. He's done excellent job. I think the trade between him and Luca has been pretty even from that draft night. So we'll see what goes from here. Give me 1 second. All right. Yes, sir. But sticking with this NBA talk that I have right here, we're going to talk about Matt McClung, the good weekend, the great weekend that he had, getting back to back dunk championships. As you can see, it's two different jerseys from year to year. He's been bouncing around the league a little bit, which has been kind of disappointing. But he's shown his greatness at least in this in that skilled challenge of dunking. He pulled it off, but we're gonna play what he had to say here. Give me 1 second.
There's so many people that, came at me before this, like, oh man, you should be mad. Like, you should, you wanna be in the NBA. You deserve to be in the NBA. Like, and I do believe I do. But I also think this is my human experience. And I think it's my human experience for a reason, because without this grind and struggle, I probably wouldn't be able to impact like I do and have been lucky enough to do things like this. So this is my story, and I've really embraced it. And I'm going to keep fighting. I'm not going to quit no matter any other outcome.
You heard the words from him. He's not gonna quit. He wants to fulfill his dream and getting in the league. And if you really look at his numbers from the G League, he's you would think he'd probably make a squad. He's 6'2", and he shoots the three pretty decent. As far as being in the league, his assists are there. His average of points is there. We don't know what the holdup is for him to get some type of slot in the league. I think it's better for him to actually make it in the league, and when he's doing these dunk contests, and it just looks even more official. But obviously, he's going to have to continue to put the work in to get there. And hopefully next year he'll be on a squad, and he'll actually have a regular NBA jersey on for the full season to be able to defend his title again. But he's got his head on right, and he's ready to fight to get that spot. There's not too many of them yet, until which David Stern did talk. Sorry, not David Stern. Adam Silver talked about in his presser, and we're going to pull up the graph again, that there are going to be some expansion teams in the next few years. So there will be more slots in the league for Matt to fight for. So shout out to him. But we are going to move on to our next subject here. It's a little bit of boxing. Manny Pacquiao got rejected from the Olympic offices, the IOC, to participate in the Paris Olympics. They're saying he's too old. He's 45. The limit is 41, and they increased it previously for him in the previous Olympics. They increased it to, forgot what it was, like 30 to 34 to 40 or something like that, and he didn't show up. So this time, they're gonna reject it for him to be able to make the Olympic Games. I don't know. To me, it's a up and down, yay or nay on whether he should be in there, because he's 45. Would he be taking a spot away from somebody that in his country that could use it, that's younger, that wants to build their name and legacy like he's built his? And I know he wants to add to his Hall of Fame career, but and in the Philippines, I'm not sure how many great boxers are there or Olympians are there, but the committee said there's enough actual collective Olympians that they wasn't going to give any special treatment. Forgot the certain term they use. They were trying to get some type of amnesty to get him in there, and they said, no, we're not going to give you that. You guys have too many enough Olympians in the game. So they totally rejected him. And Manny can do some of those celebrity boxing things or those exhibitions, and it was already rumored possibly that they can get another fight with Mayweather. So we'll see what happens, but the Olympics is definitely off the table. And again, for me, I feel like maybe you're taking away from guys that are there that could go, build their careers. So shout out to Manny. I know he'll do more great things in the industry, and he'll make his coin, so he'll be all right. One of my final things is still talking about basketball. You know that we talk about that here. It's my favorite. But I'm gonna bring up my hometown, Detroit. They're gonna have a 20-year anniversary for the 2004 NBA championship, March 17th, against those Miami Heat. And man, it's just time flies, man. 20 years, crazy, crazy how just seemed like that was not that long ago. And they were champions. They went back to back. As far as the next year, they got back to the finals again. They didn't win that one, but this is the championship they brought home to the city. Chauncey and them. Chauncey is a finalist to get into the Hall of Fame. Of course, Ben Wallace is already there, and this coach is in the Hall of Fame too. Larry Brown. Yeah, so hopefully, Chauncey can get in. But great memories from this team. One of the greatest teams that I've seen, especially for defensively. And, they brought championship home number 3 to the Detroit City, the Palace that's no longer there. They now play downtown with in the same building as the Red Wings. But, we're looking forward to getting another one back for the city. This time it will be in the city for sure when they do it. But, great memories. Congratulations to that group. And they're going to get recognized on a great achievement. But yeah, guys, that's all I've really got for the evening. Just a little talk of sports and what's going on. Let me know if you like the All-Star game. Do you think the scoring is too much? What did you think about the 3-point contest? Do you think Sabrina should join the men's 3-point contest next year? Not scratch the one-on-one. Should she join the men's, because she had just as much as Dame had for his total to win? So it'd be interesting what happens next year. And of course, maybe they have a one-on-one or something like that. But let me know in the comment section. And again, like the show, subscribe. If you feel kind to, it'd be nice to have some more of you guys on the page. And if you want to support the channel even more, there's some of my contact on other socials and things of that nature. And of course, check out my other show on Fridays. I got with the fellas. We do that every 6 p.m. every Friday. And once again, guys, it's the end of the show. So as I say, sports game, the vision. Peace.